YouTube ads can be an infinite client generator if you know how to run consistently profitable campaigns. In just the past year, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on just ads, which led to hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions for my current clients. And in this video, I'm going to reveal my step-by-step process that will get you so incredibly good at YouTube ads, it will literally become impossible for your wholesale business not to grow. So the only two things you need in order to actually set up YouTube ads successfully is a Google Ads account, which I break down in other videos on how to actually set that up in depth, and then a YouTube channel. Now, you don't need to have existing videos. You don't need to post organic content, periodically, weekly, monthly, whatever, in order for this to actually work. All you need on the channel is a clear profile picture and then a banner on the channel, preferably if someone clicks on it. And just list all of the ads that you end up posting as unlisted so they don't show up on the organic channel. And then within the ad account, what you need to understand is that you need to set up your campaign, you need to set up the ad group, and then the audiences with ads within them. And all you're gonna need is, that's it. There's nothing else really going on here. You do need variations of the ads. You do need to split test audiences. But the point is, you don't need anything else besides these two things in order to get started. So the first thing you need to understand is the targeting strategy within the actual ads account. Now, creating a campaign, you can go in, you can set that up. I have other videos breaking it down, but the first roadblock you're gonna run into is the actual location targeting. You're probably gonna be confused how it works. And there are two different types of location targeting. There's radius targeting, and then there's specific location targeting. And for radius, this is if you're just trying to target more broad audiences around a given area, or you're searching a certain neighborhood and you just want a certain radius around that specific neighborhood. And what you'll do here is you'll basically go into the ad account, you'll select radius, it'll look something like this. And let's say you're in Scottsdale, Arizona, for example, just have a 20-mile radius around that specific location. And then if you want just a specific location, let's say you want something like, Scottsdale, Arizona, for example, you can target just literally that area, which will appear blue on the screen. And then you can also exclude other areas as well in the surrounding areas. So like Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert, all that kind of stuff. You can exclude that and just have this, so you're guaranteed that the algorithm will actually just perform and be able to actually just target the people in the location you're targeting. Now, a quick thing to note and a quick tip is to locate and target as many locations as possible, because this is going to decrease the amount of money that you're going to be spending overall. And rather do that and just exclude unfavorable locations doesn't perform well. And this will save you more than just targeting a specific location, neighborhood, for example, with a small radius, which probably won't reach the right people, if any at all. Now, once you've selected the location targeting, you need to understand how advanced targeting actually works within the ad account and who you're actually targeting, because it's not just like, oh, we're targeting people in this area and it's going to show to anyone and everyone. Within the Google Ads account, you can actually target certain demographics and certain people that have certain lifestyle choices, certain keywords, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to show you how that works. But basically, the most broad thing you can target is demographics. So certain age brackets, household income, all that kind of stuff. And then you can get a little bit more specific with targeting in-market audiences, which are pre-built audiences that Google deems as someone who's considered motivated or fits a certain category to sell their home or is in a distressed situation. And then you have custom segments. So if you've built the campaigns out for a while, you can collect keyword data. You can input certain interests, websites people have been searching. This will just isolate the variables even more. And then finally, lastly, what you have is your own data segments. So things like, if you have past clients, if you have their emails, what you can do is upload that into the audience section of the YouTube ads or Google Ads account. And essentially what that's going to do is find lookalike audiences that will then show your videos, and it'll be able to refine the campaigns quicker and quicker. Or it just shows existing viewers your ads that haven't already converted to keep you top of mind, activate the mirror exposure effect, have them resubmit their information, work with you, book a call, all that kind of stuff. And the most important thing to understand here is that, yes, this is more broad and then it gets to become more niche. But the caveat to this is as you go more and more niche specific and isolate the variables to find the ideal client profile, the CPM is going to rise. And usually the problem with this is if you don't have enough budget or if you have too little budget, either way, you're not going to probably show your videos to the right people and you're going to end up wasting money simply because it gets more competitive as you get more niche. People compete for keywords. It's real estate in and of itself. People are competing for keywords in a specific market. And so if you can leave it more broad, have the AI do its work, you can then reach more people, take that data, and then refine and test both audiences as you're collecting more and more data to make more educated decisions and to keep that cost as low as possible. And now as far as the creative strategy goes, meaning the actual ads, your actual content you're putting online, you need to understand that for this, everything revolves around your offer, okay? The scripts you write, which then turn into the ads, which then have the landing pages, which have your offer. You have to have something that is uniquely packaged that's going to build trust and at the same time also provide some sort of value that are going to get people to submit their information in exchange for it, right? If your offer is like a book a call with me or my phone number is X, Y, and Z, you haven't built any trust. And if you can get the copyright, it can work, but most of the time you need to build trust with people. And this is where your offer comes into play. If you have a good offer, you're going to win. If you have a bad offer, you get lost in the sea of other realtors, your competition, and you're never going to stand out. So what you're going to want to do is basically, for in creating the actual ads themselves and the copies, figure out what your offer is, whatever you're selling. You know, if you can offer someone a cash offer in less than 24 hours and have it sold in under 7 days or something, if that's what your promise is, that's your offer. You need to be able to monetize and you need to be able to market yourself in that way. And then what you're going to want to do is also have different hook variations because different markets have different things that appeal to them and things that'll capture their attention, etc. And so you need to test all different types of hooks and angles with different psychology tricks in order to get people to actually watch the rest of the video. This is going to increase retention and actually get people to watch the body of the ad, this is where you can bring in your unique solution, touch on the pain points, how your solution solves that or why your solution solves that. And then the how can be solved by actually traveling to the landing page to download the offer. Okay. And make sure when creating the ads, you're focusing on your client's lingo and how they actually talk. Avoid jargon, things that just come across as weird, not in the realm of the scope of the understanding of the culture, right? Make it very, very hyper-specific to a client's lingo and avoid the jargon. And always make sure that you have a backlog of ads that are ready to swap out for ads that are underperforming. As soon as they max out on, let's say your estimated cost per lead is a maximum of 200 before you're not profitable, make sure you have another ad to swap out as soon as that ad goes unprofitable to make sure you're always refreshing the winning ads, create variations of those, and making sure you're pausing the losers so you're not wasting your money on ads that aren't actually performing. And then finally, for the landing page strategy where you're actually posting your lead magnet or your offer, this is basically the strategy you're going to want to have. So obviously you post your ads on the ad account, and then you're going to have a landing page or an opt-in page, which is going to host a lead magnet. This is where you're going to collect their information, their name, email, and phone number, maybe their address. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to offer them a secondary form as soon as they click submit, where they have the ability to then submit more information about their home, how much they're looking to get out of it, when they're looking to sell, all that kind of stuff, etc. And if they don't fill this out, then this disqualifies them and you can just nurture them and keep them top of mind. But those who do fill it out, become qualified, you can then send them to a booking page where essentially they can book a call directly with you because they're going to be qualified enough to want to book a call with you because you're going to ask questions that signal the fact they actually want to talk to you specifically. They'll redirect them to a thank you page, and this will basically have a welcome flow. Automated emails, texts are sent out to the client, and essentially at the end of the day, you can talk to them and close deals. So typically an opt-in page will look something along the lines of this. As far as the winning ones for my clients go, we have attention and then the avatar. So attention sellers in Arizona or Scottsdale. We then have the headline, which is going to introduce what you're promising on the actual ad itself. So get a cash offer in under 24 hours and sell your home in under 7 days. And then for the subheadline, just explain a little bit more thoroughly how you're going to achieve that. And then basically just have a form where they can submit their email, phone, address, and submit. And then from here, what you're going to want to do is have a VSL and a booking page, right, where they can book a call. Thank them for submitting their information. Just basically say you're going to be reaching out to them shortly with their cash offer, etc. For a limited time, we're also offering a 15-minute strategy session as well. That'll go in depth on how we can strategize to get the best value for your home. And essentially, as soon as they book a call, you then will redirect them to a thank you page, will look something along the lines of like headline, thanks for submitting your information. You can have an intro video just explaining the next steps if they book a call. Hey, we're going to be meeting with you shortly. I look forward to it. In the meantime, check out these case studies for similar clients, or check out my website for other listings. Whatever value you can provide, you're going to want to essentially just redirect them to that area. So the best thing I do is just redirect them to the case studies below on the page, post those, any sort of value you can have, offer that to them, and you will see a clear return on investment, tons of deals closed, and you're going to be crushing it and killing it in YouTube ads. And then finally, what you want to understand is actually how to maintain your campaigns and your ads to ensure success. So there are 3 testing phases when it comes to running ads. There's the initial setup, which essentially involves just launching new ads, evaluating their performance after the first 7 to 14 days of launching. And basically all you want to do here is just focus on gathering initial data, okay? And what this is for is just allowing for early adjustments based on like performance metrics, and it's going to allow the algorithm to learn effectively, okay? Then from here, you're going to move on, assuming you're out of the initial ads phase, into the optimization phase, where you don't want to touch the budget at this point. You want to just kind of leave it alone and refine the account to improve performance. Purge campaigns, meaning just turn them off that fall outside of any sort of target KPI. So if your cost per lead maximum is like 200 to be profitable, and your campaign is performing at like 250 cost per lead, purge it, cancel it, get rid of it. And you're going to want to launch new campaigns that basically just replace those underperforming ones like we talked about before. And just make sure you're ensuring sustained performance over time. And then the final the stage you'll be in is the scaling phase, which essentially just focuses on increasing the overall campaign budget. And it's just going to require you to launch new campaigns or ones that you think potentially could work, along with other variations to existing winning campaigns. And the goal here is to just maintain the KPI targets, but increasing the budget to get more volume for the same amount of money to increase your return on investment. And your goal is to basically just expand reach and impact while preserving the efficiency of the ads. How you can choose your budget is, the first thing you need to understand is the average YouTube ad metric. So for my clients, what we see is anywhere from a 5 to 15% opt-in rate. So 5 to 15% of people that have watched the video for over 5 to 10 seconds actually opt into the ad. And this is going to translate to about a $30 to $50 cost per lead, depending on your market, depending on your exact offer, etc. And with this, we see around a 1% click-through rate, which isn't as relevant to what we're talking about right now, but it can be important in the future, and a 5 to 8% conversion rate. And the main metric you need to understand here is a $600 to $1,000 cost per acquisition, meaning it takes about $600 to $1,000 in order to acquire someone to close under contract. And then we have like a 20% booking rate, meaning of those who book a call or of those who submit their information, 20% of the leads then also book a call directly with you. So what you do here is, with this information, you can reverse engineer your metrics to be able to figure out what's the minimum ad spend required in order for me to hit my goals. So let's say you're looking to make 20K per month off of this, right? And your AOV, or your deal size, let's say your average contract goes through for 10K, and your average cost per acquisition, let's say it's on the higher end for $1,000. And your average conversion rate, for most of my agents, it's anywhere from like 5 to 10%, and we'll use 8% just to meet sort of in the middle here. Average cost per lead takes about $50 for a lead to then submit their information. What you then can do is reverse the math. You'll see you need about 25 leads per month. And in order to achieve that, you'll need about $1,250 in ad spend in order to reach $20,000 every single month, right? And so as you can see here, obviously there's a huge return on investment. And so for scaling here, now with these metrics, let's say you're looking for $100,000 a month, 10,000, same metrics apply. But instead, you're going to need, instead of 25 leads per month, you'll need 63, and you'll just need to double your ad budget to $3,150, and you'll be able to see that target revenue increase to about $100,000. Now, give or take, obviously, this is going to depend over time. This doesn't happen right off the cuff. You don't just make $100,000 a month in your first month of running this. You need to run this for at least 3 to 6 months in order to see obvious, real, general results. But this is showing you the ideal case scenario and what is possible when you actually maintain and run campaigns. You can easily reach this, $10,000, $20,000 number within the first couple months of running your ads. But like, understanding scaling comes with understanding how the actual ads campaign works, understanding what ad variations work, what hooks work, what don't, bodies, all that kind of stuff, which offer makes the most sense. But once you figure that out, scaling becomes extremely, extremely profitable. It's an exponential curve, and you'll see you'll be winning no problem. But that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.